Hello dear viewers, my name is Nino and today we're taking a closer look at the Oukitel K10000 Pro. The K10000 Pro sells for around €200 where I live, and it comes in a ginormous box. Look at the size of this thing. I've never received a box this big from a phone before. That was pretty impressive. And then I took a look at the specs. We have 4G capabilities here, an Android 7.0 system. The phone supports 2 SIM cards. However, if you want to use a micro SD card, you have to remove one SIM card because it has a hybrid slot. But if you decide to use 2 SIM cards, you can use them at the same time. Both need to be in the nano SIM size. The CPU is an MTK 6750T, which means 8 cores, each core at 1.5 GHz. We have 3 GB of RAM, 32 GB of internal storage, a 5.5-inch screen, which is a 1080p resolution and has Gorilla Glass on top. However, it is a bit unclear which Gorilla Glass it is, but in any case, any of them is very good. The back camera is a 13 megapixel one, the front camera is a 5 megapixel, and we also have a fingerprint sensor and a few other sensors that are pretty standard here. What is very interesting when it comes to this phone is the ginormous 10,000 milliamp battery that it comes with. That is also the reason why this phone is so huge. It's gigantic. Look at this thing. Of course, that battery is going to take a while to charge. That's why they also have provided a very nice quick charger. You also get an OTG cable in there. You get an additional glass protection foil and even one that is supposed to be reinforced. I hate these kind of things, and especially with Gorilla Glass, I never used such things, so I've decided to opt out as always. However, when we take a look at the actual phone, we're going to notice that the thing is huge, the phone is fat, the phone is large, and it's been described as a phablet, which is not surprising when you think about it, but boy is it ugly. I mean, that's gotta be the ugliest phone I've held in my hand. This is of course a very subjective thing, and some of you might like it, but I personally find this phone absolutely horrible when it comes to the looks. Another thing that we get is this nice case where we can hold the phone if we put it on a belt, so that's pretty cool. I've also noticed that the phone supports 5 GHz Wi-Fi, not just the 2.4, which is pretty nice. Unfortunately, there's no notification LED, there is no backlight in the front buttons, and the USB port that you have at the bottom of the phone is actually one where you need a cable with a somewhat longer plug at the end. Some cables just won't reach deep enough to charge the phone, so if you want to use your own cables, well, some of them will fit, some of them won't. At least that's how it was with me. You will notice that at the bottom of the phone we seem to have 2 speakers. However, it's just one. The other one is just holes that are made to look like we have 2 speakers, but it's just one speaker. Plug one side and that's it, you're done. The Android was actually severely modified to look different, and as soon as I started it, an update was suggested to me. I installed it, and now I have this beautiful stock Android, so that's pretty sweet. After I've tested the phone, it turns out with 42,211 points on Antutu, which means that this phone is going to be able to handle pretty much everything you throw at it. Almost nothing will show any kind of difficulties. The device has a 5-point touchscreen. It does not go any more than 5, but I found personally that 5 is more than sufficient for me. Everything that's not 2 or 3 touches is more than enough. So 5-point touchscreen, that's a pretty cool thing. And another thing that I wanted to address is that this phone at the back is supposed to have something like a faux leather, and this just looks bad to me, just adding to its negative appearance. The advantage of this phone with its weight, which is almost 300 grams, is that if someone tries to assault you, you can actually use this phone and smack him across the face with it. Jokes aside, the phone has also a very fast fingerprint sensor at the back. I actually found it, due to the size of the phone and the positioning, to be very easy to identify without even looking, and it responded every time just after one single setup. Usually these phones require me to set up at least twice or 3 times so I can get a perfect match. This one seemed to be very responsive and worked really nice. The screen is a 1080p screen, like I said, and the phone is very responsive, which adds up to make a very nice experience if you want to browse the internet, watch videos, or anything else that you would really need to look at the screen for. As I've mentioned, the screen is only 5.5 inch, although the phone feels huge in your hands, it's actually not as big as you might suspect. When it comes to the cameras, you have somewhat good cameras. The camera at the back especially provides very good pictures. We have nice colors, we have very good resolution, the details are nice. The only part where it fails is the HDR. It seems to make the picture way too bright and even makes the colors look washed out, so it doesn't do very good when it comes to HDR, but for normal photographs it's more than sufficient. And again, if you want to use this phone to watch videos, if you want to use it to play games, be aware that the huge battery is gonna give you, or at least in my case it was so, at least 3 days of full use. It took me 3 days, and on the 4th I actually decided to charge the phone. You have to, however, consider that when it comes to watching videos and playing games on this phone, due to its sheer size and weight, this will exhaust you from holding it. Unfortunately, if you want to play too much on this phone, you should consider. It's just gonna be difficult. So at the end of the day, the question you should be asking yourself is this the right phone for me? If you don't mind the fact that this phone is butt ugly, and I really mean this is probably the ugliest phone I have ever seen in my entire life, and you want a phone that has a battery life that resembles the battery life of phones back in the 2000s when the phones came out first and we had these Nokias with a whole week of battery life, this is the phone for you. You will not find a phone with better battery than this one out there. The performance is pretty good, the cameras are good, so I can recommend it, because ultimately the only thing I really don't like about this phone is that it doesn't have a notification LED and that it is so atrociously ugly. Other than that, I think it's a pretty sweet phone. If you're interested in buying it or just checking out what it currently costs, take a look at the link in the description. I'll have them in there so you can buy it or just check out the price. I'd like to thank you for watching my video, and I hope I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.